does deep cut even have for us? Oh god, there's a challenge going on right now. I'll be 100% honest, I did not know that. Oh, freaking Clam Blitz. Ew. Oh, look at that shirt. Oh, look at that fancy mamma jamma. We're not gonna do it, but interesting. How very interesting. Oh, what is that? I don't have that kind of money, but that's cute. Is this Splatoon's equivalent of the Blowhaw? Blowhigh? Whatever it is. I mean, it's just missing the blue. Huh, I'd never seen that book. I should have bought it. Maybe at the end if I remember, because I doubt we'll go for more than 2 hours, or 3 hours, I mean. Grab the orb while we're here. Ooh. Those must be new. Sure, let's do your stupid challenge. So yeah, here we are, back in Splatoon. I did not do it in chat last night. I was doing something else. And by the time I was done, it was like midnight. And I was like, I could do in chat. Or I could just go to bed. And so I just went to bed. So yeah, so I didn't do in chat last night. And I know I said today we were going to start Spider-Man. Right? So I'd been talking about like, oh, we're going to start Spider-Man finally. Because I want to do the PS4 game and then Miles Morales. And then maybe we'll eventually get around to the new one at some point. Because the new one comes out in like 20 days. I actually locked down a pre-order for it the other day. And I'll... you know, I might as well just talk about that now. Yeah, so Walmart had a thing where they had like a code that was giving like 20% off or something like that. And it was only up for like maybe an hour at most. And I saw it on Wario64 on Twitter. And was like, oh, shit. Okay, cool. So I used the code and I was able to get Spider-Man for 15 bucks off. So now I guess I have a copy of the Spider-Man PS4 edition, or PS5 Spider-Man 2. Yep, that's just kind of how that worked out. Not intentional by any means, but it was just like, you know, seize the moment. I've gotten a... Because this is not the first Walmart code where I've gotten stuff through Walmart like that. But it was just, yeah, seize the moment. So yeah, I've now locked in a copy of that game, even though I definitely was not intending to. But especially because between Mario and Spider-Man that come out on that same day, I was really leaning towards Mario, but that's not a deal so easily passed up. But yeah, so back onto the topic. Spider-Man on PS4. Right? So there's a PS5, like, remastered it. Like, just, you know, with updated improvements. The downgrade of the new character model to better match the voice actor or whatever. Right? I'd never played that. I don't have that version. I'd never played that version. But I got up this morning and was like, okay, you know, we'll start Spider-Man today. I'll go figure... Because there should be a way where I can pay, like, $10 to upgrade the PS4 edition into the remastered edition somehow. So that was my plan, to, like, figure out how to do that. And I'm assuming you can do that for a physical edition. It'd be really fucking stupid if you couldn't, but I was gonna figure that out somehow. So that was my plan today, to figure all that out. And then I went over to my game cabinet to grab a copy of my copy of Spider-Man, and it wasn't fucking there. And I was really confused. I was like, wait, why isn't it there? And then I thought, oh, maybe I own the digital edition? Maybe I never bought a physical edition? Maybe I bought a digital edition? That's very unlike me, but, you know, I started gaslighting myself. So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. That would explain everything. No, I don't own a digital edition of the game. So I was very confused. And then I was like, I kept looking. You know, there were a few other places I looked. I checked my PS5 games, because that's where my copy of the standard edition for Miles Morales is. Because I bought the standard edition because I already owned the PS4 game. I didn't need the remastered edition. Right, so I found that, and was like, okay, well, I'll just do that then. Or, I'll have Miles Morales, but I still couldn't find my PS4 Spider-Man. So I have come to the conclusion, I don't know if we talked about this, but back in, like, June, one of my roommates moved out. So I've come to the conclusion that when he moved out, he took my copy of Spider-Man. So that's why I don't have a copy of Spider-Man, because he has it. Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense, is that he has it. So, and of course, this weekend, he's out of town. So it's like, fuck, I guess there's nothing I can do about that. So I just can't. So, nope, I don't have a copy. And I'm not going to spend the, like, $40 to buy a new one. Sounds like such a pain in the ass. Like, if there was a way I could upgrade, like, Miles Morales, because I already have that one, if I could just upgrade that to the Ultimate Edition and, you know, save some money, I'd do that. Probably. But I don't think there is. So, yeah, I'm so far out of luck. Maybe we'll try again next week. Again, I'm kind of in no rush to do Spider-Man, because it's unlike Breath of the Wild, where it's like, oh, or where we have to beat Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, because, you know, I wanted to start playing Tears of the Kingdom when it releases. I am in no rush to play the new Spider-Man, to play the old one before the new game comes out. It was just something that I thought would be neat to do. You know, it sounded like fun. But clearly that's not going to happen. We'll do like 2 more games of Clan Blitz. I do not like Clan Blitz. And I'm amazed they never added a new game mode. Right? Because, you know, Splatoon 1 had the 3 game modes. Tower Control, Splat Zones, and Rainmaker. And then 2 only added Clan Blitz. And then 3 added nothing. I know technically there's kind of that triple turf war, which is kind of a new game mode, but you know, when I say new, right, I want a new ranked mode. I still think the idea of the 8-ball one that was canceled from Splatoon 2, there's something there about like escorting an 8-ball that seems like a lot of fun, but nope. Said we're just still stuck with Clan Blitz. I don't know anybody who likes Clan Blitz. All the homies hate Clan Blitz. So yeah, no Spider-Man this week, I guess. I don't know, I'll do some scrimping and some scraping and see what I can find. But I think it's a pretty safe bet, no Spider-Man this week. Yeah. And then anything else? I mean, there's always other stuff. But yeah. And then I'm just doing the stream now, because even though I could have done it later in the day, I was like, you know, I have some time now. I might as well just do it. And then not have to worry about it at, like, midnight or whatever. So yeah, that's where we're going now. So, for the stories, we have two major stories. Right, an update on the writer's strike. And then we've got a story about Epic Games, which normally I wouldn't talk about, but there's one specific thing I want to say. And then we got like a bunch of little like minor stories that I just want to go over real quick. No, I missed it. Fuck. God damn it, that sucks. So yeah, we have a few minor stories, and then I have a relatively short WIBE. I think we've got like 2 things in it, because strike is still technically happening, even though it's also kind of over. Which, you know, I guess let's get into our first story then. So, on late Sunday, the Writers Guild of America and the AMTPT, which, you know, represents studios like Disney, Warner Brothers, etc. and etc., they reached a tentative agreement. So this is not like the deal is 100% confirmed, like, this is 100% gonna go through. But it's better that, right, it's a good sign. So that was like, oh, the big agreement. Then, like, 2 days later, they held a vote on, like, Tuesday to decide what to do next. And that vote officially ended the strike the next day. So the strike is officially over. Writers can get back to work, right? I've already seen ads for, like, Jimmy Kimmel and whatnot saying, like, hey, new episodes will be airing soon. So, right, those late night shows are already getting back to it. Writers are already returning to writers' rooms. So it's a great, right, that's a good sign for everything. Now, the official contract, like, vote ratification vote isn't until October 2nd. So that's on, what, Monday? But, you know, the fact that everyone's returning to work, they did officially release the contract to, like, show what's in it before the vote. And yeah, things seem pretty positive. Now, I do not have an exact copy of the contract. But just going off memory, specifically, I listened to Adam Conover talk about it a bunch. And it seems to all be pretty good. The writers base, you know, 150 days ago, because this strike lasted 150 days. 148, kind of. Right? The studio said, hey, all of these demands are completely unreasonable. We will never give you any of them. Right? That's what the studio said. And just 150 days later, they completely caved. Because, yeah, without the writers, they had fucking nothing. Have you seen the studio lineup? It's awful. Or like the fall television lineup. It's like Dad Games and Snake Oil and all this awful bullshit that nobody cares about. Like, yeah, no. Oh my god. Like, yeah, no wonder, right, that the studios finally got something through. Because it was awful. Right? They had nothing. So, right, it's good the AMTPTP finally, right, because this last meeting was, like, huge. It was both members of the AMTPT, but also, like, Bob Iger and David Zaslav, and a bunch of, like, big studio heads were there. It was a bunch of people. So it was this big thing. But yeah, no, the writers basically got everything they asked for. I mean, I'm sure it's not, like, pie in the sky, but they got, right, they wanted protections against AI. Boom, they got that. They wanted writer's room minimums. They got that. They wanted royalties on streaming to match royalties on television. They got that. They wanted, what's it called? They wanted basically royalties that increase if a show does well. So, like, if a show does really well, you get more royalties. And yeah, they got that as well. Right? And that's a historic one. That's huge. So, no, they basically got everything they asked for. At least from what I remember from the original, like, negotiations. Right? And that's great. That is fantastic. Great for the writers. I can't... Right? It's gonna be cool to see them going back to work and what happens from here. The other one... Now, the strike is not, like... Even though the writer's strike is over, the actor's strike is still going on. But the fact that the writers got everything they asked for means that the actors are more likely to get everything they asked for, and in a lot quicker time. Because the writer's strike, 150 days. I don't even know how long the actor's strike has been going on. But I don't think it's broached 100 yet. If I had to guess, I'd say it's in, like, maybe the 60s? 60 days? That might even be high. But no, if the writers got everything they asked for, you better believe the actors are going to get everything they asked for as well. Right? So I'm super hopeful for that. I'd say the strike is probably going to go another month. If I had to guess, I'd say we've got another month. Because, you know, contracts are going to go with the Actors Guild. It's going to take a few weeks to do contracts. And then the strike will officially end. And then they have to vote on the actual contract. And assuming it gets voted up. Right? It gets voted for ratification. But no, this is super successful for, right, labor and, right, showing the power of the people. This is great. Right? And then we've got other strikes going on, like the WGA is on, or not the W. The UAW, the United Auto Workers, is on strike right now. Which, the fact that Joe Biden, the president, came out to support the United Auto Workers is fantastic. You know, it's a good step in the right direction, especially when you have fucking people like Donald Trump who are strike breaking and going behind the scenes to, you know, do whatever nefarious things they're gonna do. Yeah, no. You know, I don't like Joe Biden. Never have. But yet, every once in a while, he does something good. Did he fuck up? Yeah, like, he completely fucked over the rail workers strike. But yet, he's doing good here, so... Fucking Joe Biden, man. He's awful. But he's also better than, like, potentially every president that came before him. Which is just how low the bar is, I guess. But no, the United Auto Workers are still going strong. SAG is going stronger than ever now. I love someone was saying, like, oh, now that it's just SAG on the picket line, you can tell that the Writers Guild was setting the pace. Because SAG walks a lot faster. That was, I think, Strike T. That was funny. How do we get to... So, yeah, so that's been going on. Now, I will also say with the strike, so we were talking about Spider-Man a second ago, the SAG is also talking about a strike for the video games industry. And they voted on whether or not they're going to strike the other day. Now, I saw some people talk about the SAG strike as if it's against video games, as if it has already started. No, it has not already started. They just voted like, hey, if the contract negotiations break down, do we strike? And the vote was obviously yes. It was like a 98% yes vote, which was even bigger than the vote for the Hollywood strike. So it's a huge positive vote, like, hey, if negotiations break down, but them voting yes to, like, strike is part of the negotiation. This is, like, the final push to be like, yes, you can, right? This is, like, the final negotiation push. Like, hey, if you don't agree, we will strike. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But this is against companies like, you know, Activision Blizzard, Microsoft, Warner Brothers, Insomniac. So even though I'm like, oh, we're going to start Spider-Man soon, if the strike happens with the... If a strike happens with the video game industry, then no, we will not actually be playing Spider-Man. Now, I don't think Nintendo is one of the struck companies, so I think we're still safe to keep playing Splatoon. But, like, a lot of other things are, you know, part of these struck companies. So that does create some complications. But yeah, so even though I plan on playing Spider-Man, if a strike starts sometime in this next week, well, just be aware that, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. And maybe we'll go do, I don't know, the fucking Stanley Parable or something. So just keep... So I'm definitely keeping an eye on what's happening with the SAG strike. Yeah, all around fantastic news. And I'm glad to hear it. So, next off, talking about, right, shitty companies being shitty. We got to talk about Epic. So Epic put out a thing on, I want to say, not Friday, but maybe like Thursday. I want to say it was Jason Schreier who I first saw covering it. That Epic Games, you know, the studio behind Fortnite, has laid off 16% of its staff. Now, 16%... Right, that's what, like, what would be, 16% would be, oh gosh, is it an eighth? You know, it'd be some sort of small number. Yeah, it'd be a little more than an eighth. Closer to a seventh. So, right, so they laid off about right, not that much. But, or at least that's what you would think at first, right? 16% is not a huge number. But, in a company of over 3,000 people, 16% amounts to about 900 people. So these are actually so even though like 16% doesn't seem like a huge number, in a company that's so big as Epic, it's actually a lot of people. 900 people were just laid off. Now, normally layoffs happen all the time in the video game industry, because the video game industry is fucking awful, right? It's a shitty place to be. It's a shitty place to work for. Right. Things all around suck. Right? Layoffs are nothing new, sadly. But the reason I'm talking about this is because a few years ago, Epic bought the company Mediatonic. You know, who make the game Fall Guys. A game I very much enjoyed until it was bought by Epic, and Epic ruined it. Right? By making it a free-to-play, microtransaction game, they just ruined it. Right? Everything that made Fall Guys unique and fun. I'm not going to say they stripped it from the game, but they definitely made the game worse than it was before. And it really sucks, right? It sucks to see Fall Guys fall from grace. And now, as part of these layoffs, one of the reports came out that of that 900, a large portion of that 900 was from the studio Mediatonic, who makes the game Fall Guys. Now, it's not the entire staff that was laid off. Right, it's been stressed several times that it was not the entire staff. And, right, there are some people staying there. But it was a large portion of the staff. Right? Tons of people did work on... Now, Epic Games, of course, as soon as people realized, like, oh, this had happened, Epic themselves came out and were like, oh, no, Fall Guys is still a priority for us. Nothing, right, we still care about Fall Guys. The game still matters to us. But, really, with what happened here, and I don't hear anybody talk about Fall Guys anymore. Like, I know Fall Guys has had its rough patches in the past, but even during its rough patches, I was at least hearing about it. I haven't heard anything about Fall Guys since probably... The last thing I heard was, like, the free-to-play update. Or, not the free-to-play update. The, level creator. The update that added in custom level creation. That was the last time I saw anybody mention Fall Guys. And that was just because, hey, a new update had come out. As far as I know, that was the last update. Like, I don't know if... As far as I know, they have not released an update since then. Now, that might be false. You know, as they could have totally released an update since then. But I've never seen anything about it. And I barely saw the... I just saw that, hey, guess what? The level creator released. I didn't actually see any created levels. It was not enough to entice me to go back to play the game again. It's a real mess. Right, definitely Epic, even though the game went free to play, in the long run, that definitely hurt Fall Guys. And at least in my, right, from everything I've seen, I don't know, maybe behind the scenes it's still doing great. I mean, no, not that many people talk about Pokemon Go, and it still makes like $1 billion a year, so you never, just because people aren't talking about something doesn't mean something's not doing well. But I don't know anybody who plays Fall Guys anymore. So yeah, that's a whole thing. But yeah, there was a thing, and I'll show it here in a second after we lose this match, where so Mediatonic has like their like company logo arranged in like letters in their office. But after this announcement was made and a bunch of employees got laid off, they changed it from saying Mediatonic to saying Decimation. Which is very fitting, you know? Like, that's what happened. They were decimated. Nope. Let me pull that up real quick. Go to twitter.com. Huh, did that not... Maybe I liked it somewhere else? Huh, maybe it got taken down, because I'm not saying it, because I swear I liked it or bookmarked it or something. But no, I don't see it anywheres. But yeah, it literally said, like, Decimation. Because, you know, they could rearrange the letters of Mediatonic to say that. And that was real interesting. Maybe I can find it. Yeah. Nope, I don't see it anywhere. It must have got taken down. Yeah, Decimation. But yeah, like I said, Epic Games put out a statement claiming that Fall Guys is still a priority. Do I believe them? No. Is there a high likelihood that within the next year, they get shut down, you know, like Volition, or, I was gonna say Praxis. I don't know, EA has shut down like a dozen studios over the years. Right, is Mediatonic going to go the way of Valerian, or Volition, or Neversoft, or any of the other tons of studios that they've been shut down over the years. And yes, that is very likely so. It sucks, you know, because Fall Guys was a great game. Are they, like, shutting down the servers? Or even if they get shut down, I doubt the servers will be shut down. Right? Usually that's not how things go. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the reason I wanted to talk about these Epic games. Because, I mean, we all know the video game industry fucking sucks butts. So that's nothing new. But, right, being upfront that, yeah, Mediatonic got hit. That was just what I wanted to talk about. Because, sadly, this is nothing new in the gaming industry. The AAA gaming space does shit like this all the time. Sadly. God. It's such a shame every time it happens. Nah, that's it. We did a bunch, but there was only so much we could get. So yeah, Epic Games, man. And I was gonna say, honestly, I don't hear much about Fortnite either, outside of, like, conferences where it's like, hey, here's the new Fortnite thing, you know, like at Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. But I'm sure dozens of people still play Fortnite. Like, I doubt that has changed any. So yeah. Would it be crazy to 1-star every weapon? I don't think so. I think it would be crazy to 5-star every weapon. I mean, I haven't even 5-starred a single weapon. And you know how much time I've put into this stupid bucket? I have put so much time into this stupid bucket. And still, I have never 5-starred it. Did I not get that off? Oh my gosh. Somebody grab that. I have no 5 stars in a 1-star. Yeah, no, I don't know how you 5-star. I can't 5-star a single weapon. If I had to guess, I bet this bucket is like halfway there. Which I feel like it should be way higher than that. But I actually kind of doubt it is. Because no matter how much time I have put into this bucket, nope, nothing's changed. Oh, there was that guy. I do want to, because I've used this button. I used to try to, like, change up weapons I play every season. But once I picked up the Tri-Slosher, man, I have not switched from it. Nothing has actually gotten me to switch from the Tri-Slosher. Did he get both of us? Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah. I think that's the one I'm using. There we go. I'm in Slosher and I'm getting into Gal as a break. I'm clicking every 2 seconds. Yeah, you know, you gotta get that trigger finger working. Gotta play more, squeegee? What's the weapon called? Squeezer? You know, where you gotta hit that trigger every second. You know? I'm doing okay. Yeah. 169. Okay, I'm done with Clan Blitz. I still hate Clan Blitz. We did okay. We won 3 out of 5 games. That's not terrible. Okay, what am I at with this buckets? I am over halfway. I've got about what is that? 40,000 to go. Yeah, and that's definitely my farthest. You know, a lot of these weapons. God, I'm one hit away in the squeezer. One battle. What's the other weapon I used? Oh, this thing. Yeah, this thing's only not even halfway. Oh, I'm just jumping into randoms. Just random regular battles. Yeah, God, getting a 3-star takes 5-star takes forever. And yet I know there are people who have like multiple. God. Like, I know I don't play this game that much anymore. But God, at least by the end of it, definitely going to get that 5-star. At least one weapon. So what else do I have for stories tonight? Oh, yeah, I got a few small stories to talk about tonight. So, Jim Ryan over at PlayStation has decided to retire. Right? In the past few years, we've been seeing a lot of big retirements, right? Reggie Fils-Aimé. Now Jim Ryan. Third guy whose name I can't think of. Did, Major Nelson retire from Xbox? That sounds right in my head. I know Phil Spencer's still there, but I think Major Nelson retired. So, you know, we've had some retire. We've been getting a lot of them, because, you know, it's getting up there with a lot of these guys. They've been working at these companies a long time. And honestly, I don't really have much to say about Jim Ryan retiring. Like, that's the thing. Like, Reggie Fils-Aimé, I had a lot to say about him, because I followed Nintendo almost exclusively for many years. Phil Spencer, when he eventually retires, maybe, right? I'll have a lot to say about him then, because he's a presence in the gaming industry. But Jim Ryan, I feel like I knew a lot less about. Maybe it's because I follow Sony a lot less in general. But yeah, I didn't really know much about Jim Ryan. Like, I didn't... Like, I know he showed up in all the events and everything. But I didn't really feel like I knew much about Jim Ryan. So, I really don't feel like I have much to say about him. So that's just why I wanted to briefly mention Jim Ryan's retirement. There's a whole thing going on right now with Knights of the Old Republic. So, a few years ago at a PlayStation showcase... At least I'm pretty sure I was at a PlayStation showcase. They announced a remake of Knights of the Old Republic. A really beloved Star Wars game that, right, is beloved. It's really good from what I've heard. I've never actually played Knights of the Old Republic. I just know it's super popular. And, you know, I probably would have picked up the remake if I still gave a shit about Star Wars. I haven't, like, I know there's that new Star Wars show. I just don't care. Even if it is Clone Wars, I just don't care. I don't care about Star Wars anymore. Disney killed my love for Star Wars. And they did it in a single movie. But yeah, so I know people really like KOTOR. So I was like, okay, you know, when it comes out. But then, right, originally we got the reports with KOTOR that it was gonna be PlayStation exclusive for like a year. That, right, PlayStation had something to do with its development or something, or they had paid, you know, kind of like how they got like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo exclusive. Right, they got KOTOR exclusive for a year. So that's a big get for PlayStation. But then at some point, like Jason Schreier or Imran Khan or one of those people put out a thing that was like, hey, guess what? Knights of the Old Republic is in development hell. Right? They've had to like restart development. Things are not going good. You know, kind of like what happened with the Prince of Persia remake from a few years ago. right? Where it's like we're getting a new Prince of Persia game before we're getting a remake of the first one. So, right, there was, like, something up there. But over the weekend, like, this week, the trailer for Knights of the Old Republic was taken off of YouTube, right? Like, on, like, the official, like, Sony YouTube channel, the trailer no longer exists. So that was a big thing that people started freaking out about. And now someone, I want to say it was someone at Sony, claimed that no, the trailer was only taken down because of music, right? That they had a license for the music, and the license has ran out, so that's why. That's the only reason why they claim the trailer was taken down. And, you know, that may be true. And, you know, it might not have even been someone. It might have been somebody else, whatever studio is developing the remake. I don't think it's the original developers, but I could be wrong. But, right, my guess is that... I mean, sure, could the music thing be correct? Sure. I'm sure it could be. But I doubt it. The more likely thing is that, right, all that stuff about restarting development was entirely true, and Sony just decided to wipe it from the slate, because we're not going to see it for another, like, 5 years. That is probably best case scenario. Maybe second best case scenario. Worst case scenario, and the one that actually probably seems more likely, sadly, is that the remake, right, it's in such development hell that they've just decided to cancel it. That's honestly probably more likely, is that the game is just straight up going to be canceled. Realistically, I see that one. I see that as being more likely that, you know, it's just the game's in too much of a development hell state that it's probably best for them to just all outright cancel it. So yeah, if I was a gambling man, that's probably the one I'd put money on. Which kind of does suck, because I know people really like KOTOR. Right? I know nothing about it, but I know people do really like it. I want to say that's the game for Infamous, where you're like, you pick the mean option, because it's like, you know, it's like BioWare, it's a BioWare thing, where like you got the dialogue options, and you pick the mean option, KOTOR, and it's like way meaner than you want it to, or like there's like the options for like dialogue choices are very poorly described. So it'll be like, oh yeah, you'll tell him no, and your character, like, that's the dialogue on the wheel. It'll be like, no, and then the character responds, no, fucker. Or it's like, yeah, I'll help you by killing you. Right? Like, real misleading shit like that. I want to say KOTOR is famous for stuff like that. That sounds right in my head anyways. Either that or I'm just thinking of, like, Mass Effect, which... You can tell I don't remember who the developer of KOTOR is. Like, I want to say it's, in my head, it's BioWare, but there's a chance it's not BioWare, so I don't want to, like, commit and say that, yeah, KOTOR was developed by BioWare, because there's a real chance it probably wasn't. So I'm just, like, not saying the developer's name intentionally, because I don't honestly remember. Yeah, so that's story number 2. And then story number 3 is there was one of those leakers who, you know, is always talking about, like, oh, here's the next big Nintendo thing. Right, they put out a thing about how the next Mario game, the next 3D Mario game, is most likely going to be a Switch launch title. That whatever that game is, it's going to be on the Switch launch day. And, right, that's the big game they're going to launch with. Or Switch 2. Right, they're going to reveal the Switch 2, and that's going to be the new game shown off. They've said that it's not a sequel to Mario Odyssey, but it's something, like, entirely new. Which, you know, that I guess that I find it so weird that Odyssey never got a sequel, especially because I feel like there was so much potential for an Odyssey sequel, specifically by having you go back and revisit classic Mario games. But it just never happened. It never came to fruition, so what you gonna do? But yeah, a new 3D Mario game, sure. I think the obvious idea for the next 3D Mario game is to make fully open world 3D Mario. right? Like, Nintendo clearly, right, they've done 3D Mario, and then we had Bowser's Fury, which was open world Mario. So now it's just massive open world Mario. I know it's really weird that it keep being like, oh, every new Mario game or every new Nintendo game needs to be 3D open world. But I think the reason we keep saying stuff like that is because Nintendo's just so fucking good at it. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are two of the best games ever. Bowser's Fury was fantastic. That was a fantastic little game. I'd love to see fully open world Mario. I think Pikmin makes perfect sense to be an open world game. And I know for a fact it would work because there is a Pikmin 2 mod called Colossal Caverns that turns Pikmin 2 into a giant randomly generated dungeon with every enemy, every treasure, just in a single giant one-floor dungeon. And the fact that that mod works is all the proof I need to be like an open-world Pikmin game would work. So we'll see. But yeah, a new 3D Mario makes sense. You know, it's just a matter of time. You know, like Mario games sell like hotcakes. 2D Mario games, like Mario Wonder, is going to sell insanely well. Because 2D Mario games sell extremely well. And, you know, I'm excited and everything. And that's a little over a month away. Or a little less than a month away, I mean. It comes out in like 20 days? Yeah, like 20 days. So, you know, we can all be super excited for that in theory. I don't know, I've already said I'm not streaming the new Mario game. You know, I'm excited to play it, but I'm not streaming my first playthrough. Maybe I'll stream my second playthrough. Maybe third. I don't know. I'm probably going to play it once on my own, then play it again with a group of people to try out the multiplayer, and then play it on, and then maybe do it on stream. Oh my gosh, that was a good hit. So yeah, any other short stories? There was one other, what was it? It was, Dianne Feinstein passed away at the age of 90. Yeah, let's not, we've already talked about politics once tonight, I don't need to get into that again. Ugh. They need to, you know, she was one of the oldest Congress people. Now they need to replace her seat with one of the youngest. You know Nancy Pelosi's not going to let that happen. Fucking Nancy Pelosi. Ah, what a fucking mess. So yeah, I guess that's it for short stories. I guess that takes us to WIBE. So what have I been playing? I've been playing Trombone Champ. So, you know, Trombone Champ came out on Switch. I was really interested in it because that just, you know, it's one of those perfect flute indie hits, like, you know, like Pizza Tower this year, or what's another good fluke indie hit from previous years? They gotta be weird, right? Fluke indie hits are always weird, right? Like Shovel Knight and Celeste are not fluke indie hits because those games aren't weird enough. Oh, we got a disconnect. Ah, shit, I didn't even notice. What's another one? Pizza Tower. Baba Is You, I would say, counts. That game can be pretty weird, so I would definitely count that one. So yeah, Trombone Champ was last year's, but, you know, it only came out on Switch this year. And Pizza Tower is this year's, but that's going to come out on Switch next year. And so, Trombone Champ, I picked it up. I've been struggling. I did eventually get the single Joy-Con to work, right? I'm pretty sure I just used a different set of Joy-Cons, and they worked so much better. So I'm assuming it was just something wrong with my Joy-Cons. right? Like, I have an older pair, and they were just struggling to work, you know, because it's the one the Switch launched with. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, these are 7 years old, maybe that's it. Still cannot get the IR sensor stuff to work, but the actual just motion control with a Joy-Con, you know, tromboning my champ like this, that works fine. I've got that to work fine. I've played every song in the game. I got the bamboo stuff. I got enough S-rank songs. I'm pretty sure you can cheat the S-rank songs with multiplayer. I have to do some more testing, obviously, but I'm pretty sure if you do one song with 2 players, and then just like connect them like in a controller and do them both at the same time, I bet there's a way to cheat S-rank songs. Because I did try the multiplayer of Trombone Champ. I got a few people, and you know, we just played a few songs, and it actually works fine. The multiplayer works fine. You know, it's a fun game. Right, so of course it's going to have some fun with that. You know, Guitar Hero multiplayer was fun. Rock Band was built on the concept of Guitar Hero, but multiplayer. So yeah, no, it makes sense and it works well. Yeah, I had no issues with that. So yeah, Trombone Champed. I've been collecting the cards. I do not have every card as of this moment. I've gotten a lot of them, but I think I'm missing like 5 that I've just never seen. Because I keep getting brass. I've got like 9 brass. I've got like 5 build your own cards. But yeah, there's still like 5 cards I'm missing in that. So I'm sure that's something. You use the S ranks to unlock like this monkey room. Or bamboo. It's bamboon. So I did that. I fed it the toots. And I was like waiting. I was like, oh, so you feed the monkey the toots into like this tromboner or something. And I was like, oh, so this is where I'm going to unlock like new trombones and new musical styles and whatnot. And while it does unlock new musical styles, and it unlocks like some new characters, it does not unlock new trumpets. I have no idea, because like I see this box where it's like, oh, here's all the new trumpets. I don't know how to get any of those new trumpets. Like, I'm still trying to, because I'm not looking up anything. I don't want to Google anything. But eventually I did the baboon one, and I found the blue key. And then I'd already earlier on found the card. It's not Mozart. Is it Mozart? I don't know. I had found the card where you put the keys in. And then after I got the blue key, I was able to find the red key thing. I was able to I had enough stuff to get the red key already. So I was able to instantly get the red key, and then you play like the super secret final boss song, and I got my ass kicked. Right? The final just kicked my ass, and that was where I ended off. Right? I was like, okay, that's it for, you know, it's like 3 a.m. I should probably end off there. So I did. And so, yeah, I still have to play more, but that's kind of where I left off. It's a fun little stupid game. It's hard. It's fucking hard. I'm sure I can definitely see keyboard and mouse is the best way to play. But is it the most fun way to play? Because I definitely feel like the motion controls are more fun than keyboard and mouse. Does it make the game harder? Oh god, yes. Some of those levels where it's like you're zigging back and forth really fast are just fucking impossible. But, you know, doing my stupid tromboner, you know, just with the motion controls, is so much more fun. So yeah, you know, I'm hopefully, you know, without looking up anything, I'm slowly making my way through. Hopefully I do beat the game eventually. I don't know how much more time I have left in it. But I've been enjoying it, right? It's been really cool to see everything. I did not realize how many of the songs I was going to recognize. Like, I'd come up to a song, see the name, be like, I have no idea what this song is. And then I'd start playing it and be like, oh, this is the carnival music. Oh, this is the, fucking Space Odyssey, right? Like, I knew the songs, I just didn't know what they were called. Or then, you know, you got some favorites in there, like, I saw Hail to the Mountain King. And I was like, oh shit, Hail to the Mountain King, I love that song. And then the level is so fucking difficult. Such a hard level. But I've been enjoying it. The ska song also kicked my ass. I don't know what it was about that ska song, but I got my ass kicked. I don't think I've ever gotten below a C rank on any level. But, yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten below a C at minimum. I get a C at minimum. But there are definitely some levels that just kick your ass. But no, it's a good, interesting game. That, yeah, like, I definitely, if you like rhythm games, oh, you're gonna love it. If you like weird things, oh, you're gonna love it. But, yeah, for, like, your casual person, you know, maybe if it ever goes on sale. It's an easy recommendation as, like, just a weird indie game to pick up. And I feel like you could have fun with it in a party setting. You know, like, it definitely wouldn't be, like, the main attraction like Mario Party. But just to, like, fuck around for, like, 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah, no, there are worse things you could do. So, yeah. What else? So, I've got nothing on Starfield. Honestly, I haven't even tried. I've just been busy, you know, with Trombone Champ and other things. Because the other thing I did... And I need to play more Starfield. I still do like it. Like, I know, right, like, you see all these... Like, I was reading, Steph Sterling's review. And, right, what they had to say. And they did not like the game. But it was, like, still interesting to hear all that. But I still like the game, and I agree with some of their points. You know, some of them I'm like, you know, it's Bethesda. I know, right, judging Bethesda for Bethesda's sake is kind of unfair, but that's just the nature of the beast. This is why I'm not a games critic. But, yeah, I just need to play more Starfield. That's really what it comes down to. Actually justify buying a fucking Xbox. But I've been playing, so I think last week we talked about Pokemon Too Many Types. And I was like, oh, that was it was a video by AlphaRad. And I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. And I was like, oh, you know, I'd like to play that. But, you know, I don't really play Pokemon ROM hacks or anything. I've never really had a desire to. But I saw that and I was like, oh, you know, that's a pretty fun ROM hack. And then somehow I just came across a thing of like, hey, it was on like TikTok, where it was like, hey, did you see the Pokemon Too Many Types? Well, here's how to play it. And it was super easy, so yeah, I started playing Pokemon Too Many Types. I busted out my Stadia controller to play it on Google Stadia. And yeah, I started playing it. No, like, all jokes aside, I do, for PC gaming, I do use a Stadia controller. Because I got a Stadia controller last year, 2 years ago, for like $5. And I really only bought it because it came with a 4K Chromecast. And I wanted a 4K Chromecast. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy this for the Chromecast. And it just came with a controller that sat in a box. But then earlier this year, when like Stadia died officially back in like January, they added the ability to make a Stadia controller into a Bluetooth controller, right? You just go to a website and it does everything. And so I was like, and by the way, if you have a Stadia controller and haven't turned it into a Bluetooth controller, you only have until the end of the year to do so. Because then I'm pretty sure they're shutting down the website in like January of next year. So make sure you go do that. You should be able to find the website pretty easily. I just Googled it. But so right when that happened, I downloaded the website. I went to the website, turned my Stadia controller into a Bluetooth controller, and then I've just been using it for PC games, right? Because I didn't have an Xbox, and I know you can hook up a Switch Pro controller or a PS5 controller, but right, the Stadia controller has become my de facto PC controller, and it actually works fine. It works perfectly fine. It's basically, if you've never used a Stadia controller, and I don't blame you, because who the fuck does? It's basically just a PlayStation controller if it was shaped like a Switch Pro controller, right? Like the button layout. It's got the same button layout as an Xbox controller, but the D-pad is where it is on like a DualSense or a DualShock, right? Like it has the numbers in the or the buttons in the D-pad are on opposite sides, and the two sticks are at the bottom. But it's shaped like a Switch Pro controller or an Xbox controller. It works fine. You know, it's not the most amazing controller, but it's also not terrible. I think it works fine. I've been having no issue with it whatsoever. So yeah, that's just what I used, and I was like, do I want to play Pokemon with a keyboard? Not really, so I'll just boot up the Stadia controller, and the Game Boy emulator has a thing that automatically sets up the controller for you, so I didn't actually have to even do anything. I just turned it on. So that was nice. And yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Too Many Types. I chose Poplio, who is a water silly type. I do not know the type chart at all. I've just kind of been making it up, right? I've just kind of been trying to figure out things as I go. I haven't even been taking notes, honestly. I really should be. But it's, you know, it's Pokemon Emerald, but with a twist. They give you an infinite rare candy at the beginning of the game, which is really nice. The fact that I just don't have to fucking worry about any of that stuff. Right, I don't have to grind or anything. Not that I'm averse to grinding. I'm not averse to a little bit of grinding. But, you know, in just like a stupid little ROM hack like this, that is, you know, just for the lulz. It's nice that I can just avoid that. But I really haven't done much, honestly. Like, if this strike does if the video game strike happens, and we can't do Spider-Man, we might do Pokemon Too Many Types. I'm genuinely considering, like, you know, maybe we'll just do that instead. And we'll just call it there. So, definitely think that, yeah, no, that is definitely something I have considered. As, like, that's backup option number, like, I'd probably say 2. Backup option number 1 is, Stanley Parable, which I was promising to do months ago. And then I just never did. So yeah, just be aware those are things coming up in the future, potentially. Again, if a video game strike doesn't happen, then don't worry about it, because we're just going to play Spider-Man. But yeah, so yeah, that's really all I got to talk about, because even though the writer's strike is over, the actor's strike isn't, and I'm just going to wait until the actor's strike, the SAG strike, is done, and then we'll talk about movies and television again. Because I definitely there was a finale this week, and I definitely have some things to say about it, but, you know, we're going to wait until the strike is over, so we've got a few weeks before we can say any of that. We will most definitely talk about it. But I'm going to guess that's a month away. And I have been keeping a strike list. I've been keeping a list of everything I've watched since the SAG strike started. So yeah, we're going to spend an entire day just talking about what I missed. I would say it's going to be like a big, like, it's a special event. But it's not going to be that. It really isn't. Yeah, I haven't been playing anything else. Have I tried anything new? No, not really. I haven't tried anything new. I haven't. Yeah, like... No, No, I don't think so. I don't think I've tried anything new. So, yeah. I guess that takes us to the outro. Because, yeah, that's all I got. Oh. So, what's coming up in the future? Again, Spider-Man, question mark. I definitely want to do it. I just don't know the process of it. I'm going to have to either get my PS4 copy back or figure out something, but... You know, we will figure it out somehow. Assuming, again, a strike doesn't happen. And if a strike does happen, well, then we will do it after the strike ends. Hey, we got a pink striped eel plushie. Yeah, basically all the money we made today, we just spent on that plush. Oh, and we got a splash tag for gold cards. Ooh. Neato. I cannot wait for the DLC for this game. It's not coming out until, like, God, March at the earliest. Yeah, maybe February at the earliest, but who knows. I don't know, I've been seeing a lot about it. Like, they've been posting a lot of stuff on Twitter, which the way they're posting about stuff on Twitter makes me think that it's sooner than it's looking like. But no, I'm still pretty sure it's going to be a while. And then I bet the next update, for the next, like, the snow season or whatever, the cold season, is going to be in November, if I had to guess. And we get an update in January. I don't think they've announced a Splatfest for October. I don't think we're gonna. I know this is our second Halloween, and on Splatoon 2's second Halloween, we got Splatoween, which everybody loved. Right, the Halloween Splatfest was great. I don't think we're gonna get anything like that as much as people want it. I think it is very unlikely. Oh, you're just some. Oh, you don't even have. Yeah, see, Splatoween. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's very likely. You know, I would love it. I would love another Christmas Splatfest. Do a Hanukkah one. Yeah, we got a Christmas Splatfest in the previous game. Give us a fucking Hanukkah one. That'd be cool. They'd never do it. Yeah, we find out that all Octolings are Jewish. That'd actually be really cool. I'd love that. They won't do it. They don't have the balls. But no, I don't think we're going to get anything. Maybe next year. I know 2 years of content updates, but, you know, maybe next year. So, yeah, that's that. So Spider-Man, maybe Pokemon. I mean, we'll definitely do Pokemon, the next DLC, but that's December. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see when we get there. And, yeah, I don't think I have anything else for tonight. And yeah, I don't know what else is coming up in the future besides Pokemon. We might also, you know, so, right, number 1 is Stanley, 2 is Pokemon. I'll tell you right now, number 3 is New Super Mario Brothers. Even though I did just a few weeks ago 100% that game, I might just play through it again. Play through New Super Luigi U just for the hell of it. But we'll see how it all shakes out. I don't know, I'll figure that out when I get there. But yeah, that's what we're going to end off today. We'll be back next week. Maybe on Friday, maybe not. I don't know. And I don't think we'll be back tomorrow. Like, there's a very low chance we're back tomorrow. But you never know. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.